Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and welcome to another ENFP male interview. Today I get to interview Jaclyn. So Jaclyn, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So Jaclyn, can you tell us what your full type, please?
Yes, I am an ESFP jumper. That's SETE, play, consume, blast, sleep, blast, double masculine.
All right. And what did you feel and what did you think when you got your results back?
Well, it was funny. At the suggestion of someone in the OP group, I recorded my reaction on my phone so I could look back at it later. I looked very puzzled, and I was, yeah, I think the first things that surprised me was the TE savior, well, SE savior, of course, and because I thought I was an INFP. So yeah, so that was my biggest thing. You know, like I was fine with it. Like I wasn't like angry because they do prepare you to be backwards and everything. But it was just puzzling. Just, you know, had to think through it for a little while.
And then did you come to accept it after you got it, or did you kind of question it at first?
I questioned it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to question it because I think I do, you know, from watching all their videos and stuff like that, I do trust Dave and Shan's expertise in this area, having typed so many people. So I tried to just remember that as I processed it. And what's actually been really helpful, I went on the Discord like reveal day chat that they had, and all the other ESFPs, there were actually quite a few of us that all got typed, like 3 or 4 others, I think, all in the same day. So that was interesting. And everybody was just like really welcoming and like, oh, welcome, you know, we'll help you through it and everything like that. That's the community help has been really helpful as well.
I think since they started typing people, from what I know, it's the ESFPs that freak out the most about getting their results back. Like from what I know, like the biggest horror for a lot of people is seeing that green SE bubble, like in, you know, as their type. But now that you know you're an ESFP, how do you feel about it? Like, are you like, oh, that's cool, I know what I need to work on, or is it like, oh, you know, like I'm that cringy type, or like, do you feel that way, or how do you feel about it?
No, I don't feel cringy, I don't think, or at least not yet. I think it is good to know what I need to work on for real, you know, and not be like analyzing and over analyzing, like, is this really me? Is this what I am? Is this my problem? And just have like, this is your problem, deal with it. So I like that. And I think like I've come to from my brief studies, I've only been into typology for a couple of years. I kind of stumbled into it, and I've come to appreciate all the types and all their flavors. And so I'm okay with being, you know, whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah, because some people who get typed as ESFP, they'll be like, oh, I never thought I was cool, because ESFPs are considered like like cool. Like all the celebrities are like ESFPs and stuff. So they're like, you know, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, so now that you said that you stumbled into it, how did you stumble into it? Like, did someone introduce it to you, or was it like you were like looking something up online? And
It was actually kind of a weird story. So I homeschool my child, and I went through like a homeschooling course with somebody who is a homeschooling veteran, and she offered this course through her company. And so in the process of taking the course, one of the things they did was figure out you went to 16 personalities and figured out your method, your type, and then how that applied to your teaching style. And then in another part, you actually find out what your child's type is. There's like a little's like a child version of probably 16 personalities, but it's a little different, to figure out what they're like so that you can see how they learn as well. So it's just kind of figuring out, you know, just the people involved, the parent, the child, and how that dynamic was going to be. And so that's when I found out. I took the 16 personalities test and I got INFP. And when I read the, their write-up of it, I know it's kind of vague and kind of like, this and that. It made me feel like finally seen, like it resonated with me. Like I was like, yes, I do that. Oh my gosh, I do that. I'd never heard of Myers-Briggs. I'd never heard of any of it. So that was my first introduction to it. And that was, I guess that was 2019. So fairly recent. But yeah, and then after quite a while of studying in Myers-Briggs world, I stumbled upon Dave's videos. And at first I was like, wow, this guy's really aggressive. Like he's kind of mean. I don't know. But then as I listened more, I was like, okay, I get it. I get what's happening. So.
Gotcha. So you are the same type as Jocko Willink, the discipline equals freedom guy. How do you relate to his message when he talks about discipline equals freedom? Or, I mean, obviously he's a guy, but do you, what the message itself, is it something that you feel like you resonate with?
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I've heard Dave and Shan mention him before, and I saw him on the Airtable or the data site. But that message sounds pretty good to me, because I know that that's where I struggle a lot, is the discipline area. And unfortunately the world around, my world around me is like crumbling because I don't have this, this discipline. So I think, yeah, it doesn't feel like freedom, like on this end of it, but I'm working on Dave and Shan's, the things that they call the 1% goals. So I am trying to work towards like a bigger discipline system, because yeah, I do think that that's a good message.
Since you're an EP, you must have been quite chaotic growing up. Can you talk about like some of the chaos you've caused as you got older?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still going through that, trying to figure out, yeah, what I might have caused. I know when I was younger, I think this is so EP, I guess. I like when we were at school dances and stuff, I always wanted to be the life of the party. I was always like in the dance circle, like dancing and showing off in front of everybody and trying to get people to dance. And like, I don't know if that's considered kind of chaotic, but sort of. But yeah, I'm still working on that. So I'm not sure where else I might do that.
No worries. I think what you were describing might have been play. And you are double masculine ST play. So it would make sense why you would be quite aggressive at getting everyone to dance and play and have fun and stuff, which is not a bad thing. Someone has to do it, right? Otherwise, no one, everything's gonna be a boring party. Let's start with the ST play first then. So ST play has extrovert sensing. It's masculine. Do you have a good memory when it comes to details, facts, and whatnot?
I thought I didn't, honestly. I really thought I'm so forgetful, always, I don't know. I think I've been confused with thinking I was INFP first. So I've been confused between NE and SE. And so what I think are concepts that I'm remembering, I guess are more facts. So I probably do remember more. And I just always thought I didn't. I don't know.
Well, the way SE is described is it's not like SI, where it's like, if I'm gonna give you a report on what happened, I'm gonna give you like the full story, like this happened, this happened, this happened. But you have SE, right? So you're only gonna bring out like the highlight reel, like the best part. Would you say that's something that you personally do? It's like, yeah, you don't care about like the tiny detail. It's more like, what is the most important detail?
Yeah, when I was younger, I think I used to add a little bit too much into my story, the unnecessary stuff. And now I think in my head, when I am telling somebody something, I'm trying to think about what is the most important thing here that to sum things up, because you know, like it's like you said, the highlights, because I don't want to bore people with unnecessary information. So yeah, I do find myself doing that.
And because you have SE, it also means you like to gather um, physical objects, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you're attached to those physical objects. So can you talk about like being unattached to physical objects, yet you still want to collect them or gather them and or buy them?
Let's see. I had a stamp collection when I was younger. And I'm trying to think of things that I gather now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like, there's like when I go on trips, I'll always buy one of those souvenir spoons. Like I have a whole rack that you display them. I got it from my great grandmother. And but yeah, I'm not sure what else I might gather. I'm still working on that too. It's all so new to me. Because I thought I always gathered, like as of recently, especially, I'm always Googling, so I'm always gathering like that information, I guess, is more what I gather.
Okay, that's fine. So you gather facts more than like objects.
Yeah.
You have a masculine TE, so do you feel like when it comes to helping people, like you feel confident at what they need, like help with, you know, because it's masculine TE, right? So,
Yeah, I actually have always felt like I wished I knew what people needed. Like I know some people are really good at, you know, like if someone's sick, they're really good at, you know, oh, I'll do this for you, I'll do this for you, I'll do this for you. And they just jump right in. And I'm always like, feel better. I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry. I just don't know.
got it. Okay, let's look at it from a different perspective. So because you're masculine TE, would you say you come across as bossy to some people? Would like would you get accused of someone saying, "Oh, you're too bossy" or whatever?
I can't remember a time when someone has said that to me. But I think there are people in my life that don't like to ask me too many questions. I don't know. So I don't know if in my response to those questions, I'm a little gruff or something. And so they just like, oh, don't ask her because, you know, she's going to attack you with an answer. I don't know.
It's possible because I do have coworkers that are masculine DE, and I do know they get aggressive. So I'm like, okay, well, probably not the person to ask, you know, or they'll get too like pushy with their advice. And I'm like, you know. So yeah, it's possible like they just don't say it. But you're still you are a double decider though. So if someone were to say to you, I guess you would not really get offended. You would be like, oh, okay, whatever, you know.
I would be surprised, I guess, if they told me, but yeah.
Yeah, because you're balanced with self and tribe, right? So you are tribe above self, and you like to do things for other people. But because you are like a double decider, you also know what you like. So can you talk about like the stuff that you like and you enjoy, and like when you're done, like you know, helping other people and killing yourself for other people, then you go back and do your own thing. Like what does that look like when you're doing your own thing and like stuff that you personally enjoy?
Well, I think right now, and I don't know if it's you know, like a depression thing lingering from COVID, you know, and the lockdown and everything. I'm torn between like I'll sit and I'll do the things I like, you know, going through the op videos and the group stuff, and that's mainly what I'm doing lately. But if I was like, you know, watching a show or, you know, binge watching a series or something, you know, I like, you know, doing that kind of thing. But and I probably do that more than I do things for the tribe right now. But in the process, I almost can't really enjoy those things fully because there's this stuff in the back of my mind of like, you should be doing this. You should be doing this for the tribe. You need to be doing this. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize that that was a DE thing, you know, again, because I thought I was FI. Um, so, but yeah, I guess I'm looking back now. I'm going, oh, was that a DE thing? I'm so worried that I can't enjoy this because I need to be doing something for the tribe. So yeah.
So it could be a COVID thing, you know, like everyone's in a lockdown and stuff. Maybe, you know, everyone has too much time on their hands for once, which could be a good thing because, you know, usually, you know, everyone's like go, 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 right? Do you feel like some guilt that that you're doing too much for yourself and it has to be balanced? Like it has to be like, okay, I need to do something for someone before I can fully relax. Basically, what I'm asking you is, what do you need to do in order for you to feel like, okay, now I've earned my time and I can go fully relax? Like, what do you need to do to feel that way?
I don't think I need to do a whole lot. You know, I hear that a lot in the OP groups and the videos and stuff that DEs are killing themselves for the tribe, killing themselves for the tribe. And I don't think I don't think I do that. But probably if, as long as I did one thing, like even if it was like I washed the dishes or something like that. Oh, good. The dishes are clean. My family has dishes. I can go do whatever now. Or, you know, just something small like that.
Yeah, that's very interesting you said that because I can relate to that. Like, yes, I do feel like I need to do something for other people, but I don't need to do a lot. I just need to do like one thing and it's good enough.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the class, David Chan released a video recently. I think it's called like Grand Stack Lives Another Day. I don't know if you saw that one.
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, anyways, it's the video where they showed like the difference between that Malik guy, the ENTP, and Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you saw the ESFJ typing video of him, but
Yes, I did see that one. Yep.
and then later on they made like a follow-up where they showed like Pattinson and Malik, and they're exactly like almost the same type, except one is an ENTP and one is an ESFJ, but they're like, I think their animal stack was exactly the same and the sexual modalities was exactly the same. So everything was the same. The only thing different was like, you know, one's an ENTP, one's an ESFJ. And because Malik is an ENTP, his DI is second, right? Even though he's a DE, it was second. And with Robert Pattinson was fourth, right? And just that difference, like Malik, like he clearly knew what was important to him, you know. And Robert Pattinson was like deathly afraid to like talk about himself or something. Even though you're a DE, you have FI second still. It's still second. So you still know yourself to an extent, and you still know what you like and what you don't like, and you have no problem doing it as long as you've already taken care of like your what you feel responsible for, which is doing the stuff for other people. So would you say that sounds accurate, that even though you're tribe above self, you don't have any problems doing things for yourself if there's no one to like that you need to help?
Yeah. I think there is that kind of you know, lesser DE feeling because of that, because of the grant stack. Because yeah, because I don't mind. Well, so like for instance, my husband and I we're trying to coordinate like some things for our child, some extracurricular stuff, and we were it was two different things. One was like Tuesday and Thursdays, and then we didn't realize until later that the other thing was going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So I'm like, okay, I know she really wants to do these things, but I cannot do 5 days a week here and there, taking her everywhere. So I was fine with being like, okay, you're going to have to choose because I'm not taking you to everything. So just like stuff like that. And then the homeschool group that we're a part of, you know, if there's a lot of things going on, I'm like, nope, I can't. I need a home day because there's somewhere in there. It's just I need to have some me time or something. You know, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. I think it resonates with an example that they provided in one of their, I think it was their Q&A video or something. 'Cause they were talking about like their INTJ neighbor. So they have, Dave was saying that they have a neighbor who's like a blast play consume sleep INTJ. So sleep blast. And then you would think that, oh, sleep blast, they have trouble with their identity and they have trouble resting and doing stuff for themselves. But Dave said, nope, still double decider. She'll find a way to do stuff for herself. She'll find a way to squeeze it in, and it's not like it's not a true EJ. It's like she's still an IJ. You're still an EP. At the end of the day, you are an EP. More than an EJ, and your problems are going to be EP problems, not going to be like the EJ problems can be like minor. Like it's minor. But with that being said, though, I'm curious. You thought you were an INFP at first, and when you took those, like I think I guess one of those online tests, I guess you type as an INFP. So an INFP has people problems, like not like everyone has people problems, but the double decider just finds a way to resolve it. That's the difference, right? Like you'll find a way to resolve it because the bigger problem is the object, right? So, however, you and me, we have something in common. We're both play first and we're both sleep last. And play is a decider animal, and sleep is also a decider animal. So we are very weird because we have consume and blast in the middle. That means we're actually balanced with the information, which is very weird. That means that the info stuff is not going to be as bad as like the other pure blood EPs where they're really freaking out about this kind of stuff. We have slightly more decider problems than the typical EP would, because play is high and sleep is low. And having sleep low means setting boundaries is difficult. So but the difference between us though is you're masculine DE, so you are going to be better than me at it. So can you talk about setting boundaries, and has it been a challenge for you, or is it something that it's been not too bad?
I think setting boundaries, if I understand it correctly, is harder for me at work. So if a lot is asked of me at work, it's, oh yes, I will do it. Absolutely. And I will take on everything that's asked of me. I will not tell them that, oh, but I'm already doing this, and this. Nope, I will do it because I'm getting paid for this. And, I don't know, it's just like some kind of obligation I have. At home, it's much easier, or like in my regular life, it's much easier. I can say no to people fairly easily. There's always a little bit of guilt, somewhere in there, but I can do it and feel fine about it a little bit later. But yeah, it's the work struggle is like triple times compared to like regular life struggles.
So I guess when you're at work, you're being a soldier and you just want to, I guess, prove yourself that you are competent and you are, like they're getting their money's worth for having you work for the company, I guess. It's like something like that.
Yeah. If I make a mistake at work, it's like the end of the world for me. I get so mad. I get so upset.
Like at yourself, like you beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
But you're probably good at your job because you have double masculine ST play. So when it comes to like getting the job done, it's not just done, it's also confidently done. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then because it's ST play, do you find that you also prefer to collaborate with people? Like when you do some kind of work, you prefer to do it with others?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think at work. I don't do too much collaboration at work.
What do you do, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm office administrator at our church.
Okay.
It's just a couple days a week. But office-y stuff that I'm doing. So I pretty much know my general tasks each week. And but sometimes I might be asked a question like hey, what do you think about this? I think sometimes when I'm thrown a question like that, though, I feel like I need more time. I don't feel like I can do a whole lot in the moment. I don't, it just might, that might be an insecurity issue or something, but I think if, because I'm thinking back to a time when we were trying to plan with it was a volunteer situation, not with work, but we were trying to plan like a mother-daughter tea, afternoon tea at the church. And I was trying to plan with a couple other mothers. I feel like I take a backseat in those situations. I don't feel like I'm too like double masculine about it. But if somebody says, hey, if we did this, can you go get this? Oh yeah, I'm there. I'll go do that. You know, that kind of thing. But as far as like the ideas, I don't generate a whole lot of ideas in the moment. I have to like sit and think about it.
Okay, so would you say that's because you have high consume and you definitely want to take in everything and want to make sure that everything's accurate before you jump the gun and get something done?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I like to take in the whole thing and really sit with it. Maybe go Google, you know, like in that instance, I'd go Google other people's mother-daughter teas and see what they've done and see if we can do that and that kind of thing.
Right. At the start of the interview, when I was watching you, I noticed that you would, like, before you said something, you were very careful. Like, you want to make sure it's absolutely as accurate as possible. So you are info dominant like me. We're both info dominant, a little bit different because I have blast above consume. And I think the way you're describing it sounds like you're consuming first before you blast, which is like starting executing. What has your relationship like with like being info dominant, like consuming, blasting? Like how smooth is it for you to go through that process? You know, like learn first and then do. Learn first and then do.
That's a good question. I don't feel like I do a whole lot. I do feel like I'm stuck in the consume mode and like afraid to start. I don't, I'm trying to think of when I would actually, I mean, I think it's got to be a project that really engages my FI. I think, you know, like, for instance, in the past, I participated in Relay for Life, which is a walk, 24-hour walk, and it's to raise money for a cure for cancer. And each year, you know, you decorate your site it takes place at our fairgrounds, and you decorate your site for in coordinating with the theme for that year. And I always kind of took that on as a project. So I would take the theme and I would just kind of run with it, and I would be all about it. I would do like I don't know, pretty elaborate stuff in my opinion. So I mean, I guess in a project like that, I can get started and I can finish. But I still think I have a lot of ideas in my head of things I want to do, and I really just only talk about doing them. I like still very sit in the consume and like afraid to do anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do find it interesting as like info dominant because you do get things done, but there is like a lag time because you have, especially for us, we have FI, right? So we have to like it, and then B, gotta make sure that information is everything is there first before you can execute. You know, it's not like the consume last. Like if I have to make shit up, it's fine. You know, like it's like for me, it's like oh my god, I can't do that. Like I can't. Like I don't want to make shit up. I don't want to like, you know, that's sacrilege. Yeah, I can't pronounce it, but you know, it's like it's taboo. You don't do that, right?
Right.
Right. A little bit different from you though, because for me, I blast before I consume. So I'll try to do something, and then when I get stumped, and then I go consume like crazy, you know. And I can consume a lot too, but you know, I have to do it first. Otherwise, like I cannot learn first and then do. Like I've tried. It's kind of weird. It's like I have to try to do it first, and then when I get stuck, I'm like, okay, I need to consume. But if I can figure it out without consuming, I'll just do it. You know. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little bit backwards, but it is what it is. Um, But I do want to ask you about your consume. So your consume is SF. So you consume like what's cool, what's popular. Can you talk about your specific flavor of consume, like the SF consume, consuming popularity, what's cool. Now it is personal, so it's still yours. Like it's what you think is cool. Not necessarily what everyone else thinks is cool, it's what you think is cool. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, let me think here. That's another weak area that I'm trying to figure out. Because even when I thought I was INFP, I didn't know what INF consumed either. So, but SF, yeah. I mean, I think I'm interested in fashion, so I might look, if an ad comes up in my Facebook feed that looks interesting, I might go to that website and look through what they have. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm interested in, psychology and anything related to that, like what people are doing. Because sometimes I don't feel like I'm really that aware of everything that's popular. Like for instance, I never got into TikTok. I never even started a TikTok, but I know that, that was all the rage at one point. I'm still is, I guess, a little bit, but I feel kind of like a grandma. Like, I don't know, is that TikTok still a thing? But I never got into that, and I never, yeah. So I mean, I guess it's probably not tech world. I'm probably not into tech world popular stuff. It's probably more aesthetics, decorating, fashion, makeup, and I don't know, I have to, and like I said, op group stuff for now. I'm always looking at that, and I think I find too that if I see any weird videos come up, like, wow, can you believe this happened? Like those kind of videos, and I'm looking at it, and I always have to look at the comments to like videos. I always have to see what other people are saying about the video. Usually someone real smart can come up and be like, oh, that was so fake, that didn't happen, or what, stuff like that. I'm always looking at comments and stuff. I'm always wondering what people are saying about different videos.
Yeah, those comments are gold. Like some of the comments are so good. I'm like, oh, that was so clever. That was so good. Like, maybe that's also the high play. Like you want to see what people have to say. I know some people who are demon play, they don't even read the comments. Yeah, it's weird. Like I know people who are consume last. If they're like buying something on Amazon, they don't even read the reviews. Can you?
Oh yeah, no, I read.
Can you believe that?
Definitely.
Like, because like for me, I think for most, like, yeah, obviously for both of us, we're info dominants. We're like, let's just see what the review is saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's the consume last. I was talking to a few consume last people. They're like, no, I just buy it. I don't look at the reviews. I'm like, what? And when I look at the reviews, I don't know if you do this, but I also see if the reviews are fake or not. Because these days, on Amazon, there's a lot of fake reviews. So
Yep.
I'm suspicious if it has like a lot of reviews. I'm like, and they're all like 5-star, and I'm like, something's fishy here. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I worry about that with hotels, because I think I feel like I haven't seen that with hotels, like verified stay or something like that. Like Amazon will say verified purchase. I don't know as I see that with hotels. I'm like, is this really, or is this like one of these owners saying, oh, it was a great hotel?
I think the review I trust the most are the 3-star ones. It's like, who puts 3 stars, right? Like they usually have something like good to say, and then that helps me make a decision. So you mentioned hotels, so I have a question for you. I noticed this with ESFPs with feminine FI, so I want to see if you relate. Okay, so I've spoken to some ESFPs with feminine FI, and they tell me they have a princess syndrome when it comes to hotels. Like, cannot be a shared hotel. The washroom cannot be like disgusting. And there's like a whole host of like things that's like, it's like, because like when you're feminine FI, you're like and you could tell me if it's true or not. Like, even though you're masculine PE outside and you come across like punchy and stuff, inside you're like really feminine and you feel very girly, and and hence the princess syndrome, right? Like it's like, oh no, I want to be treated like a princess. Like, how do you feel that way when you like stay at a hotel and stuff? Like, does that feeling ever pop up? Like, do you want to make sure everything's like to your specifications?
Yeah, I'm not one to like switch rooms if I have a problem with something. But I mean, if it's really bad, yeah. But yeah, I'll look around. I think when I was younger, I would use it, but nowadays, I won't actually use the coffee maker in the room because I don't know. I'm like, they could just get really gross, and I don't know if how well people are taking care of these things. So my husband uses it; he doesn't care. But I'm just like, no, I'm good. I don't know, have coffee somewhere else. But yeah, I'll like look at the pillowcases and look at the, look for stains or something like that. Yeah, I kind of look around for that kind of thing just to make sure I'm comfortable.
I don't think they wash those coffee makers. I
Yeah.
think they're disgusting. I still use it though, but they're disgusting.
Like, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Just use it. Yeah.
No, because for me, I'm like, if you boil the water, it's good enough. So
Right. It's like, it's
yeah.
hot water. So yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure if you touch it, there's probably like shit on it. like yeah. But yeah, best not to think about it. All right, yeah, okay. So let's talk about your feminine FI. So talk about like that so masculine on the outside but feminine on the inside. Can you talk about that? Like how do you feel about like that like that the difference of that?
Well, I definitely feel like I grew up thinking, that I wasn't, that I didn't come across as girly as like some other people that I would see. And I never knew why. Now I know why. But yeah, so I think, well, and so in terms of like I never flirted, right? I was terrible at flirting. I think I was just like, I don't know. I probably because I was a little insecure, but I think I scared boys. I don't think I don't think it came across as like what I wanted to come across as. But yeah, inside I the princess thing for sure. I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, I was convinced I was an INFP with feminine FI at the top, because that's how I felt. That's, you know what I mean? That my masculine TE was protecting my FI. I was like, oh, absolutely. That's absolutely what's happening. And yeah, I don't tend to share a whole lot of my FI too. I think it's like, that it's delicate. I can't tell you because you might hurt it. That kind of thing. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not sure how I could explain it.
Do you find that you cry easily? Like if you see something like you watch a movie, it's so touching, and then you start
Yeah.
bawling quickly? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I don't know how everybody feels about the terms, but so if I have double masculine saviors, that means I have the double masculine demon. So that ends up being the sissy syndrome, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, this is a syndrome. Yeah. Yeah.
So I told that to my husband, who usually like when I go to him, it's always that double masculine play. I'm like, do I do this? And he's like, I don't know. Like he doesn't keep track of the things I'm asking him. They say that double masculine does this. Do I do this? But when I told him, I said, so apparently I have sissy syndrome. So it's like the littlest thing or like when I'm like having a hard time, it's just like, I'm just going to cry and, oh, woe was me. And he's like, oh yeah, you do that. I was like, okay, well, that's one thing he knows.
Yeah. Woe is me. That's funny. Yeah. I feel like I'm the opposite of you because like I have you have that double feminine sleep and double masculine play, and I have double feminine play and double masculine sleep. So for me, on my front end, it's more like, oh, I'm like the weak person. I'm like like I'm fragile or whatever. And people was like, you're so weak, right? But like when the double masculine swing happens, then like I'm all of a sudden the tough guy. I'm like, you're all, like I don't want to say you're all bitches, you know, like it's like like stuff, like that's kind of like what I would say, I'm like, so it's kind of interesting how like that swing can occur to everyone, and everyone has like a double feminine side and everyone has like a double masculine side, and they're both you, which is kind of cool, right? So I think ever since I learned about that, I stopped getting like I've never been intimidated by double masculine people. I actually like them a lot because I think when they're being punchy, I think it's hilarious. Like Dave calls it like the poke the bear syndrome. Like with like people with feminine DE, they don't think people are threatening. So when there's like someone with masculine DE, they like to poke them, and then when they growl them, they think it's like the funniest thing. Like ha 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 ha. Like I think I agree. Like when I have a masculine DE friend, I will poke the bear. I will say things that will like get them like aggressive, and I'll like laugh my ass off because I think it's funny. So with that being said, because you have masculine DE, do you feel like the tribe is aggressive, that they're threatening? I mean, you're still a double sider, so you're not gonna be like as bad as like a pure DE. But what's your opinion on that?
I one of the early things I recognized was the masculine TE, because the tribe is very scary. I feel like they're the mean ones. They're always talking about me or something. I don't know, but I think like it was very exaggerated though, and I think again that's why I felt I was INF and IP in general for so long, because I felt like the tribe was the enemy, and I need to be better, and I felt like there was pressure on myself, and where was I going with that? Masculine DE. Oh, there was something else I was gonna say. What was it? Oh yeah, duh. My so I have I it's getting better, but I always had a lot of anxiety. So I felt like I just felt like that exaggerated the IP nature that I thought I was, right? But I think what it's come to now is Dave and Shan talked about this in a video probably a couple times, that lead SEs tend, like they're seeing a trend that they tend to have a lot of anxiety. So now at least like I can see, oh, it's probably the lead SE that's causing that or something, and not, obviously being an IP. So
Yeah, the NI also causes a lot of anxiety at the bottom. Since we're in this topic now, let's talk about your blast, anti-blast. Your blast is gonna be exactly like Dave's blast, kind of, or more. Yeah. So your blast is gonna be INTJ like, and you're teaching concepts and plans and strategies in the abstract world, and you have access to it. So how do you personally experience anti-blast, like figuring things out for someone or problem solving for someone else in the abstract world?
I haven't noticed that I've done a lot of that, or I haven't really noticed the blast. Yeah, problem solving for someone else. Like, I don't know if concepts.
Like, okay, has anyone asked you for like advice and they had like a problem and then you gave them the advice, and that advice is not 100% concrete, it's like partially abstract?
Yeah, I don't have a concrete example. I don't feel like people come to me for advice. Maybe it's that TE, I'm scary. I don't know. But
what about relationship advice? Has anyone come up to you for relationship advice before?
yeah, I probably seem awkward when I'm giving the advice. I don't know. Again, I'm shaky on like the concept world, like what that is, because I misunderstood it for so long with the INFP stuff. I feel like I can give like scenarios. So like if someone's coming to me and they're saying, I'm having problems with this, what do I do? I can kind of give different scenarios of like, well, if he says this, then you should do this. And if he goes this way, you should say that. And then if that happens, maybe try to do this. I don't know. Is that something kind of like a...
It is. Yeah. Because
Okay.
you're using your NI kind of like predicting what could happen, because it hasn't happened, so it's abstract, right? And then you're
Right.
using your TE to say what you need to do. So yeah, you are doing it.
Okay.
So yeah. So you know how to do it, and you are doing it. It's a demon, but it's there, so you do use it when need be. Okay, cool. Okay, so since we are on this topic. Let's talk about your feminine NI. It's right on the bottom. This is going to be one of your biggest life problems. Let's start with like, what kind of life problems have you had from that feminine NI, or like not using the feminine NI?
Yeah, this is a new development as well, so I'm trying to figure that one out. I definitely, yeah, I probably don't envision in the distance of like, where do I want to be and how do I get there and stuff like that. I don't do that a whole lot. That's definitely been lacking. And I don't narrow down. Like, it's just OE, DE all the time. Like I terrible about narrowing down things and narrowing down plans. So those are probably my biggest struggles.
Since you said that you don't really like think about like what you want to do with your life that much, let's talk about your NF sleep. This is going to be your last animal. It's double feminine NF sleep. Based on the studies that they had, it's going to be very hard for you to tap into it, but not impossible. Not impossible. But it's going to be hard because it's double feminine. So it's going to be very movable, because like one day you might feel like, I finally know what my life, like what I want to do with my life. The next day it's like, oh, maybe I don't, because it's like, movable, right? So let's start with the different parts of that NF sleep. The first part is that people with NF sleep, like people with your function stack, it doesn't have to be an ESFP, but it could be like an INTJ, ENTJ, or ISFP. So all you guys have the same function stack. I noticed that you guys have mantras or a code, at least the one that has it like that do use it. Like I was even so shocked. Like they did a class with somebody recently. I forgot what type they were. I have to look it up again. But it was like your function stack again, and they had a mantra. I was like, it's like, what, they had a mantra. I think the person was an ESFP actually. It was like that the Indian guy. I don't know if you saw it, that one.
No, I haven't seen that. Is that Habib? Maybe.
Oh no, maybe this was a while back. I mean, I forgot. But there was like an Indian guy that they did a while back, and he was like a play blast, I think. And
a celebrity. Oh, the Sad Guru.
no, not Sadhguru. He was an ESFP.
Oh, he's INFJ. Yeah.
No, this person's an ESFP, and he's an Indian, and he's Indian American, and he was he Indian or is he Pakistani? The point was he had a code, and it seems like every person that is like this function stack has a code. Like, this so he had a code. Like he even said he had a mantra. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you can't make this up. And then obviously Jocko Willink has discipline equals freedom. So do you have like a code or like a words or saying that you live by, that you kind of adhere to?
That's probably where I'm a follower of Jesus, so that's probably where the Bible comes in, and like memorizing scripture and trying to apply it to just everything in my life. And so like I have like a favorite verse of mine is Philippians 1:6. It's, he who began a good work in you will continue his work until it is finished, when finally finished, when Christ Jesus comes back again. So it's that probably is one that has struck me as a favorite, because it's reminding me to trust the process, which, SI, everybody's got to do it, right? And narrow down, and let's, small steps, and that sort of thing. So I think that's probably why it's been such a big verse to me.
It's also very NI, like kind of trust what's going to happen in the future is going to be good,
Right.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. So you kind of outsource it to the Bible, which is fine. Nothing wrong with outsourcing. I think they did type someone who was like an EP. I don't know if it's an ESTP or ESFP. I think she was an ESTP, but she outsourced the sleep to someone else. Like she goes to like a like one of those meditation centers or something to like practice sleep processing. So how do you do your sleep processing, or how do you not do your sleep processing? And what that means is like, how do you go over like, you know, so we're a little bit different. I have SI, you have NI, right? So for me, I use my SI to go back to the past and kind of like look back at my life and kind of see, okay, this happened. When this happened, how come it made me feel bad, right? Like, or like, and then also thinking back, like, okay, what made me feel happy? What made me feel good, right? But you're still a bit different. You don't have SI, you have NI. So for you, it's going through your life and looking at your reoccurring patterns, because NI is all about patterns, right? So have you used a little bit of that NF sleep and kind of like look back in your life and like, okay, what is like my reoccurring life pattern? Like, what is something that always happens over and over again? It's obviously your fault. It's like you caused this, you know? So do you have any idea what that could have been for you?
Yeah, there's been, and more recently, now that I'm paying more attention to it after learning about OPS and everything, there was one big one that I noticed this past, just like towards the end of last year. So I had noticed for a long time that I would, I guess they were freak outs or tidal waves or something, where I would get so bogged down with like the things I wanted to do with art. And I would, and it usually was triggered by seeing someone who was really good at art that I admired or something like that. And I'm going, you know, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be like them. Oh gosh, I have so much work to do before I could, you know, ever be like them. And this would happen quite a bit, like ever since probably teenage years, it would happen. And it finally took me until this year, you know, I'm almost 40 now, and I'm finally realizing that I do this. Like, I noticed it, but I never really realized it was something I had to deal with. I thought it was just something that happened. So anyway, yeah, now taking ownership of it and saying, okay, you know, let's like simmer down and try to figure out, you know, let's try to be the person that that I'm admiring. So yeah, I'm still working on like what to do to make myself sleep process. I had started looking at like, I don't know if this helps at all. I had started looking over my notes that I would take in the op class, because apparently it's a very masculine SE thing to be taking notes. I take notes. I've got a whole notebook filled with notes. And so like I would sit, instead of watching a new video, I would sit and go over the ones I had looked at and try to see, I don't know, I guess maybe try to see the patterns that of stuff that I noticed. That's how I've started trying to narrow down instead of consuming more.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like going over your known information. So that makes sense. I did an interview with a panel of individuals a while back, and they're not your function stack, they're my function stack, but you know, it's the ENFP and ICJ, ESTJ, and INFP, those guys. But I think it's still relevant to you because it's still the FIT axis. So we both share that, right? So I noticed with those when I was talking to those guys, it was super interesting because it seems like based on your function stack, so if you have FI higher, then you would have a little bit more confidence when it comes to dealing with negative emotions, as opposed to someone that's like for example, I had an ESTJ in the panel, and she said that when she has a bad feeling, she tries to get rid of that bad feeling right away, and she does it by using a thing. So SI is like some kind of object, either exercise or eating healthy, something like that, right? And she won't ask for help because she's an ESTJ, she's scared of people, right? And then I asked the ICJ the same question, and the ICJ said, yes, she will, like, if she's feeling bad, she'll buy like some kind of like caffeinated beverage, like a latte or something, and then like and eat some pastries to like make herself feel better. But because she is an ICJ, she's an IJ, she's not scared of people. If it does get bad enough, she will ask for help. She's not scared of people. people are friends, right? So that's a good thing about being like a double decider. Um, and then when I asked the ENFP and like the INFP, it seems like no, dealing with emotions is something that we're okay with. It's more like the thing is harder to do, like the routine, the discipline. I'm gonna bring that question back to you. You have sleep loss, which is FI-NI, but because you're FI second, would you say that it's easier for you to deal with your emotions as opposed to dealing with like your patterns, your concepts, and like and whatnot, like that aspect of it, or planning?
Yeah, I think yeah, emotions don't bother me too much. Like I don't mind feeling, whatever emotion. I'll actually like play a certain song because I want to cry. I just like it. I'm not scared of it. But I think, yeah, the pattern, if seeing the patterns probably freak me out because I feel a little helpless to fix them. Like if it's a bad pattern. So I think that, yeah, the NI is probably a bit scarier.
It's interesting how the fourth function makes you feel helpless, because like for me it's SI, and that is where I do feel helpless. And it's also interesting how you said that you would listen to music on purpose to make you cry, because sometimes I do feel like shit, and I don't want anyone to cheer me up. I want to feel bad. Like it's weird,
Yeah.
because like certain times when like the EJs, for example, are like, no, I'm feeling something, I want to get rid of it, and I'm like, no, I want to feel bad. Stay away. Let me feel bad. Let me brood for a while. Like it's fine. Like
Yeah.
and like the people with FE were like, cheer up. I'm like, I don't want to cheer up. I want to feel bad. Like just leave me alone. Do you ever get that? Like
Yeah, I think I probably do have a problem with staying in it a little bit too long, but yeah, I do yeah, if I'm feeling, a certain way, it's like, no, I got to feel this way for a while so I can deal with it, so I can, um get to the root of it and figure out, what it really is, or ride it out, just let it run its course, that sort of thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, let it run its course, right? Like obviously you're not gonna live there because that's also bad,
Right.
But you definitely need to feel it, otherwise you can't do anything about it because you don't know what's going on, right? So, all right, cool. So yeah, okay, that seems to be aligned to what like others have said. It's like, oh yeah, like the EPs, they don't mind feeling bad. It's fine. Uh, it is what it is, and it's important. So go through with it, let it run its course, and then you're good. You're good. Um, all right, cool. All right, so I have a last two questions for you, Jaclyn, and we'll wrap up the interview. So the first one is in regards to you being kinesthetic in audio. So kinesthetic means like you like to learn with your hands, or like to do things with your hands, or touching and stuff. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like, are you touchy-feely? Are you someone that like likes to do things with your hands?
I never noticed that I was. I'll have to pay more attention. I was thinking about when I most recently needed to learn something. It was for work, learning a new, just the software program. I needed someone to like show me how to do it, and then I watch them, and then I need to do it. But I don't necessarily have like, I don't need to know. Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry. My child's like asking me something. Hold on, just.
Sure. Nice.
Sorry, her TV wasn't working.
Okay.
No.
Maybe your daughter is also like just an observer.
Maybe. Freaking out.
You're freaking
TV's
about
not
things.
working. What's
You're
wrong?
freaking about things. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. What was I saying?
You said that you were learning a software and then you needed to do it to.
Oh yeah. So like, I'm not one that needs to know like why I'm doing something. Like I figured that out later. I just need to know what I'm supposed to do. So like, what do I click? What do I, I don't know if this is like related or anything. But so like if I click here, I click okay, I click this, all right, great. And then it's later that I fill in the blanks of like, oh, I'm clicking this because it's got to go over there. Oh, but I have to like do it for a while first before the rest of it gets filled in.
That sounds more like you're using your ST and then your NT later on. But maybe the clicking part, like you're pressing the buttons, maybe like you enjoy like the feeling of like punching on the button, the keyboard. Yeah. Your your play first, and your kinesthetic. So do you have trouble sitting still? Like you always have to move and stuff?
I never noticed that. I think I do kind of do that leg tapping thing, after a while that people do. Like if I'm at my computer in my chair, if I'm not writing, I might sway in the chair a little bit. But I've never noticed that I, move around too much or need to get up, because I can sit for a long time, like at work, I'm in my office job. I can sit for a while.
But
I
are you fidgeting when you're sitting?
Yeah, maybe I am. I do. I'll have to pay more attention. I do know that I do feel really good. Like if I if I shake my hands really hard, if I just get out something, I do feel a lot better if I get some physical aggression out.
Do you like the smash energy? Like you like throw things and like,
If I'm mad, yeah, I might throw things. I don't do that as much anymore, but
yeah, I forgot where it was mentioned. I think so. They type Scarlett Johansson as a double masculine ESFP. Um, and I mean, no one would know she's double masculine. Like it's not apparent, but she is. And like I've heard some interviews in the past where she said like she loves like when she's trying to get fit for a role. She loves like kickboxing because she's like just destroys the hell out of like the the what do you call it, the punching bag and stuff, or like whatever. So do you feel like a sense of relief when you're like smashing things, kicking things? Like do you have like a sense of relief? Like do you feel like something like after you do it, you're like, okay, everything's good?
yeah, I think so. Like a long time ago, I was doing a workout called Turbo Jam with Chalene Johnson. Is one of the Beachbody ones, and I really liked it. It was a lot of kickboxing, martial arts, kind of combo. But I think so. You're just punching the air, just like was that other one?
Taibo.
Yeah, Taibo. Yeah, just like Taibo. You're just punching the air, and that's okay. But we bought a punching bag for our daughter, and we put it in the basement, and I really like that. I really like the punching bag. It's much better to hit something. I don't want to hit a person. I'm not like aggressive with like whatever. But if I can hit that punching bag, that it's a much better feeling than just punching the air. So
what does it feel like? It's like therapeutic, or like how do you describe the feeling?
Yeah, therapeutic. How do I describe that feeling?
You get a relief, like it's
Yeah, like a yeah, it just feels like I can relax or something after I do it.
oh, that's interesting. Okay. I don't know if I do that, but it's interesting. Okay, so the last question I have for you is the audio. You are also audio, so talk about like learning by hearing. Like, do you like to listen to audiobooks? Does music have a profound effect on you? How do you see like the auditory side?
Well, I had listened to audiobooks before, or I've listened to one before. It was a while ago. I can do it. Like I can. I don't know. It just maybe because I haven't done a lot of it, it feels weird to listen to an audiobook. I feel like I need to read it. Or maybe I just need to hold the book or hold the phone to look at the Kindle or something like that. But as far as music, I actually recently, in recent years, I've been wondering why I don't tend to look at lyrics or really care about lyrics of a song. It's more how the song sounds, how it makes me feel, the hook, the chorus, and then I might look at the lyrics later. Oftentimes I'm terrible. I make up my own lyrics half the time because I think they're saying something that's not what they're saying. But yeah, so I don't know if that's has anything to do with it, just not really caring too much about the words. It's how the song sounds and the feeling behind it.
It sounds like feminine FI. You want to be like swept by the music, like, and then you get like your feelings get like, you get a range of emotions, and like you wanna feel them all,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even when it comes to reading, it sounds like you want to touch something, like a book or something. So the
Yeah.
kinesthetic thing is definitely playing into it. I do think you can listen to audiobooks if you did it enough, because you do have auditory also. So I think it's also like a lack of practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So thanks for coming out and doing the interview, Jaclyn, and getting us to learn more about you and your specific type.
Well, thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to like quickly come home and then like do this without getting to decompress after work, but thank you.
It's fine. I'm sleep last, so it's it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks. See ya.